Finally, a fresh look at some Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League gameplay and a little more on the story at last. Ever since the game's delay to February next year, we've been patiently waiting for a new look at the game to see what they've been polishing behind the scenes since that delay. And, well, it's just as divisive as last time. You've got one side who simply just wanted more single player Arkham or a different Justice League member like Superman, and then you've got the other side who are in, thinking it looks insanely fun. I'm with the latter. Look, it's not that I didn't want a Superman game. Believe me, I do. But boy am I ready to get back in that Arkhamverse that Rocksteady have created. Though, I have to start with one huge factor that I think is unanimously agreed upon by everyone looking at this game. The always online requirement. It's not a personal deal breaker. However, I need something from WB or Rocksteady that means if this game doesn't do as well as we all want it to, and eventually ceases production, there is work being done to preserve the game to make it playable offline. It is a major sticking point for me, despite how excited I am for this game's release. A main entry into Rocksteady's Arkhamverse should never be at the risk of being lost to such a requirement, and if we can get the single player offline, sweet, but there has to be a promise that if things do fail, which touch wood they don't, that this game is preserved. And well, with that out of the way, let's get into my thoughts on the first Suicide Squad Insider. Man, I went into this conflicted because it was like, we've seen so much without seeing anything at all. One thing that I keep saying is like, take out the battle pass and live service stuff, take it out of the equation. I have no doubt that the mainline campaign of this will be absolutely excellent with Rocksteady DNA all over it. What we got to see here is kind of what Arkham fans have been visualising for years from every prior tease in the Arkham games. Getting to go inside the Hall of Justice, see gadgets, throwbacks to the Arkham games, it was extremely sick. With how much Batman media we've had, the amount of nostalgia that I feel for all these small little references that we see in here, it just shows how invested I am in Rocksteady's Arkhamverse. I also think they did an excellent job here because it wasn't too much story. It was just enough to tease a few more things without giving it all away. I loved the chemistry of the characters. I think it was actually well written. Suicide Squad, especially, you can get like James Gunn's well wrote characters, or you can get the other one that was rough. Yeah. I found it genuinely funny, which in a comic book video game can always go the complete opposite direction to make you cringe a little bit. We got a small little look at the Batman boss fight too. I mean, all those hours of playing around in thugs' heads with the Predator system, and now we're on the other end of it. I mean, come on, how sick is that going to be? They also gave his suit a minor little change, which I think looks really sick. I've said in other videos, but the boss fight potential in this game is massive, man. It really is. How they can change the mechanics on each member of the League is both a daunting task for Rocksteady, but for the player, extremely exciting. Like, Batman looks like he's going to use the fear toxin from the end of night, which, I mean, come on. Also, this being Kevin's last ever appearance, I really hope he has like a moment or something that after his betrayal that has been amazing for all these years just does him justice even more. In terms of the story though, like, that was about it. Few more boss fight teases, a look at the Flash before he's turned by Brainiac, we get the narrative explanation of the traversal abilities, and that's really it. Which actually is what I wanted. I'm still hoping there's like 1, 2, 3 League members that they're just kind of keeping under wraps for the main game. Martian Manhunter, Cyborg, Aquaman, Shazam maybe? All be really cool, and I hope some of that stays under wraps and that they do have a few more. I guess then, that's a good chance to get into what this video really was all about. The gameplay. There's still so much divisiveness about it, but I can't fathom looking at this and thinking, how does this not look fun? My major issue with Gotham Knights in terms of gameplay feel was it was just stiff and tight in both the traversal and the gameplay. I haven't got my hands on the sticks yet here, but this looks just fluid and exciting, and I think the main word is clean. Inherently, it's an easier job to make a looter shooter be more fun and exciting than a looter brawler like Gotham. But I want to talk about traversal first. That moment of Harley diving off the Hall of Justice with like all the Brainiac shit in the background, I mean, come on, that looks mega, mate. I think all the characters' traversal looks really fun and diverse. Boomerang, probably the best. I think they did a really good job of like capturing the speed force in a game where not everyone can move lightning quick. It's a testament to Rocksteady that the character kits look pretty diverse. It was definitely something that they needed to all specialise in different guns, because if they didn't, you run the risk of them all being samey. Talking to friends after it, like asking who am I going to main, I couldn't tell you, I really couldn't, because I want to play as them all. It's definitely going to be interesting in terms of how they balance the enemies to not be bullet sponges and be satisfying, which is one of the looter shooter's biggest hurdles. Destiny has the terrific gunplay to which enemies react to getting hit. Borderlands has just such a diverse amount of weapons, and it's the art style that helps it. The Division found it a struggle in terms of making bullet sponges. Though it looks as though Rocksteady have put their own little spin on it. We get both counter shots which can stun, stagger and aggravate enemies, but also like combo potential with our shooting, which we got a little look at with Harley. I really disagree with the sentiment that this game looks bland and generic. I think there's clear Rocksteady DNA in there to see for everyone. I think the sandbox looks a little inspired from Crackdown, but I think the gameplay loop looks satisfying. They confirmed the map is twice the size of Arkham Knight, so my hope is that that comes alongside interesting and meaningful things to do in Metropolis, which looks outstanding on its own. I will say that as the comic book nerd, like nerd, I feel like it's a best of rather than just Metropolis. I don't know, like it idealizes all the League and not just Superman, which is like a little weird to me, but I don't hate it. I think it looks incredible though. Like, it looks as though there's a day and night cycle. It just looks really visually satisfying. I've seen complaints that, oh, Arkham Knight looked better. But that whole environment, that whole art design is created around a gritty, dark night. Like, quite literally. Pun intended. Thank you very much. This is the Suicide Squad, though. I don't need a damp, wet city. It needs to match the tone of the game. Obviously, I can't judge that until release, but I dig Metropolis on the whole, especially with like all the Brainiac shit going on. There is, however, a few things I want to cover, and I do have reservations on. I've said my piece on the always online stuff. Do worry for the monetization of the game. And you're like, what the hell? This is a game. Like, why are you worrying about like a corporate monetization? No. They've spoken in the description about 4 seasons, free content and villains, and battle passes, and probably an in-game store we've seen from leaks. The few suits that we've seen, they look sick. I can't lie. I mean, those Justice League inspired suits, I mean, come on. Look at Boomerang and Deadshot. That is top tier. Worry with these games is, if you're not going to charge per hero, or do expansions, funding the content is a problem. It's why Destiny does expansions. It's why Diablo is going to do them. It's why Division has done them. Reason being, cosmetics are amazing. Until you've got every cosmetic that you want and you don't want to buy any more. I don't know this game's roadmap. I'm sure we'll hear more closer to the release, but I worry about the cadence and quality of content if it's funded solely through battle passes and cosmetics. I've spoken about loot in my previous video, so I'll leave a link in the description if you're interested in seeing that. These concerns that I do have, I'm sure we'll get a better idea of more in future insiders. But also, what are the activities going to be? Like, the only real gameplay we've had in terms of missions is the Hall of Justice / Penguin and the one at the PlayStation Showcase. I'm hoping we get a look at the various mission types, open world patrols that may come with the game. What is the main loop after I finish the story? For a lot of people, of course, the campaign, including myself, is where the main excitement is, but I love my looter shooters, so I'll be sticking around after. My question still remains of, why am I? What do I have to do? Outside of that, though, I thought it was an excellent look at the game. I really do. I get why people aren't hyped, but I am. I really am. I think it looks smooth and fun. For me, the main principle of a video game when I'm looking at it is, does this game look like I'm going to have fun? The answer is a resounding yes. I can't wait to be back in the Arkhamverse. I can't wait to play a Rocksteady sandbox in 2024. I have my reservations like many. I can't help but feel extremely excited. Let's see what future Suicide Squad insiders bring us. But now I want to hear from you. Did this showcase do anything for you? More or less hyped? Who are you thinking of maining when the game drops in February? If you're looking to stay up to date on Suicide Squad and DC games, you are absolutely in the right place. I'll be covering this game right up to release and everything beyond it, so hit that subscribe button. Drop a like if you enjoyed the video, have a terrific day, and I'll catch you in the next one. Same bat place, same bat channel.